If someone could quietly rewrite the rules inside your head, would you even notice? Dark psychology isn't just in movies or crime shows. It lives in tiny moments. The guilt you can't explain, the yes you say when you want to say no, the way you shrink when certain people enter the room. Those are emotional traps, mental prisons that manipulators build inside you, brick by brick. Right now, we're going to walk into those prisons together and then walk out stronger. As you listen, don't just think about toxic people out there. Think about you. Where have you been captured? And where are you ready to break free? What is an emotional trap? An emotional trap is a pattern of feelings and thoughts that keeps you stuck, even when you logically know you should move. It's when your fear, guilt, or need for approval becomes a remote control in someone else's hand. Maybe you keep chasing someone's approval, even though they never give it. Maybe "I'm sorry" comes out of your mouth even when you did nothing wrong. Maybe you stay in a situation that crushes you just because leaving feels scarier than staying. Manipulators love these traps because once your mind is locked, they don't need chains on your body. But here's the twist. The same psychology that traps you can also set you free. If you understand the dark, you can turn on the light. Keep listening and you'll start to see your own patterns. And when you do, that's your first step out of the prison. Trap 1. Guilt as a cage. One of the favorite tools of manipulators is guilt. They don't have to shout, threaten, or punish. They just plant a tiny idea. You're selfish. You're ungrateful. After everything I've done for you, and suddenly you're explaining yourself. You're defending yourself. You're trying to prove you're a good person. Notice what just happened. You moved from "what do I want" to "how do I convince them I'm not bad?" That's the cage. Guilt by itself isn't evil. It can guide you when you really did something wrong. The problem is when guilt is used as a weapon against your self-respect. Here's your mental switch. Every time you feel guilty, pause and ask, did I actually do something wrong, or am I just not obeying? That simple question breaks the spell and gives you a moment to choose your own response. If this is already hitting home, save this video or share it with one person who needs it. Your mind is your most powerful asset. Protect it and help someone else protect theirs too. Trap 2. Fear of abandonment. Another brutal trap is the fear that if you say no, you'll be left alone. Manipulators sense this fear. They push it. They say things like, "No one else will put up with you." Or they reward you with attention when you please them and pull away when you don't. Slowly, your brain learns a twisted rule. To stay loved, I must stay small. But real love doesn't require you to shrink. Real respect doesn't demand that you betray yourself. When you start to honor your own boundaries, you might lose a few people, but you'll gain something far more powerful: self-trust. Self-trust is the key that opens any mental prison. Tell yourself quietly right now, if they leave because I'm honest, they were never truly mine. That sentence might hurt, but it also heals. It reminds you that your value doesn't depend on your ability to please everyone. If you're still here, that means a strong part of you is done being controlled. Honor that part. Let it grow. And while you're here, hit the like button so this message reaches more people trapped in the same cycle. Trap 3. Confusion and gaslighting. One of the darkest tools in emotional manipulation is gaslighting, making you doubt your own reality. Maybe you've heard lines like, "It's not that bad," "You're overreacting," or "I never said that," "You're imagining things." At first, you fight back. You know what you heard, you know what you saw, but over time you get tired. You start to think, maybe it really is just me. That's how a mental prison is built, not with force, but with fog. Here's how you clear that fog. Write things down. When something important happens and it feels off, keep a private record. How did they speak to you? How did it make you feel? What was actually said? Knowing your own history is an act of power. Your memory is your witness. Don't let anyone erase it. If you know someone who keeps doubting themselves, send this video to them. Quiet support like that can be life-changing, turning dark psychology into your motivation. So how do you turn all of this darkness into fuel? Step 1 is awareness. You're already doing that by listening. The moment you can name the trap, it starts to lose power. Step 2 is anger, but clean anger. Not rage that destroys you, but a calm fire that says, "Enough, I deserve better." That anger can power your next decision, your next boundary, your next step forward. Step 3 is action. Tiny, consistent actions that prove to your brain, I am not trapped anymore. Maybe that action is saying, I need time to think, instead of giving an instant yes. Maybe it's spending 1 hour today doing something only for you. Reading, learning, planning your escape from a toxic environment. Maybe it's finally reaching out for help instead of suffering in silence. You're not weak for being manipulated. Dark psychology works because it targets human needs. The need to belong, to be loved, to feel safe. Those needs are not flaws. They're powerful forces. When you direct them instead of letting others hijack them, you become incredibly strong. If you want regular pushes to stay strong, subscribe now while it's fresh in your mind. Turning insight into a habit is what transforms your whole life. Rewriting the rules in your head. Think of your mind like a house. For years, other people may have been rearranging the furniture, locking some doors, boarding up certain windows. They told you where you were allowed to sit, what you were allowed to feel, who you were allowed to be. Today, you take the keys back. You start small. You open a window called, I'm allowed to say no. You unlock a door labeled, My Needs Matter. You throw out a broken chair named, I'm Not Good Enough. And as the light comes in, the shadows of manipulation get smaller. If you want to go deeper with this kind of inner work, tap subscribe so you don't lose this channel. Imagine having regular reminders that pull you back into your power every time you start to shrink again. That's what we're building here, a space where your mind belongs to you. Your new mental rule book. Before you go, choose a new set of inner rules, not the old ones handed to you by manipulators, but ones you decide on. From now on, when guilt shows up, you pause and investigate it instead of obeying it blindly. When fear whispers that you will end up alone, you remind yourself that peace alone is better than chaos with company. When someone tries to twist your reality, you stand in your memory, your notes, and your clear sense of what actually happened. These are not just nice sentences to repeat once. They are rules to live by, and every time you act on them, you are writing a new story about who you are. So here's your challenge. After this video, take 5 minutes alone. Ask yourself one honest question. Where am I still acting like a prisoner? Then write down one small action you'll take this week to change that. And when you've done it, come back and tell your story in the comments. Your words might be the exact message someone else needs to unlock their own cage. And reading other people's stories will remind you that you are not crazy, you are not weak, and you are definitely not alone. If this opened your eyes, don't let it end here. Save this video, share it with someone who feels stuck, and hit like so it reaches more people. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive into dark psychology, self-defense, and real inner power. If you're ready to keep growing, comment, I choose my mind, so you lock in that decision right now. Your mind is the most valuable place you will ever live. Don't rent it out to manipulators. Claim it, guard it, and use it to build a life that actually feels like freedom.